Hello, everyone. So, I'm here to share two messages that I received from two prophets. So, the first prophet is Prophet Ezekiel. Yes, the prophet Ezekiel. So, he began, I understand the burdens you're carrying all too well, my sister. I understand the weariness and pain of wanting God's will to be done, and even getting a bit irritable about how long it takes for people to understand God's plan and purpose for them. I understand all too well, but you must also pray daily for God to give you love for your brother in the midst of delivering God's words to them and being given insight regarding the conditions of their hearts that God has begun sharing with you for different people. Look to Jesus every day for strength and spend time with him constantly. As his prophet, you must spend more time in his presence to be strengthened for the path that's laid out for you, for this journey is not an easy one. If you don't spend consistent time with him, you will be delivering from an empty well, and the words will continue to wear you out and burden you greatly. Only through his strength can you handle the burden with love and contentment in your heart. Without it, it will continue to be a greater struggle for you to exist in this world knowing the truth of how it is currently. You must bear the burdens of Jesus with joy in your heart because you know how the story ends, and walk the journey that you're currently in without complaint. He is making all crooked lines straight in your life, but you must trust him no matter what he instructs you to do. Keep persevering, and you will be strengthened greatly to do the work God has laid out for you. And that was the end of his message. And the next prophet that spoke with me is the prophet Jeremiah. So he began, Hello, my sister. I know this is the first time you're hearing from me, but I want to share some encouragement with you. I know you feel very undeserving of this call as God's prophet. I understand being in that position. I too did not feel deserving of that call, and I lost so much because of it. But the best thing to remember is everything that's at stake. Always think of those who will be saved by your prayers and even by you sharing your messages from Jesus. Do not be swayed by the small number of people who view your videos. In God's timing, his message will spread to others, and the right ones will be led to your channel. Also know that as a prophet, you will lead a life of struggle, persecution, and strife, and many people will not believe the messages and words you deliver. But once things begin to come to pass, will some make the changes that God requires of them. Keep your goals of bringing souls to Jesus' heart at the forefront of your mind always, and you will never go wrong. There are so many praying for and cheering you on in the spirit. You are never alone in your struggles. We struggle along with you here in heaven and administer graces and encouragement to you given to us by our Father. Keep fighting. The victory has already been won. And that was the end of Prophet Jeremiah's message. So I was very surprised, to get these messages from both of these prophets. These are some big heavy hitter prophets, and for them to come and to speak with me and give me encouragement was very shocking, but also very uplifting. And this is definitely something that I needed to keep going, because it has not been easy, and it isn't easy, carrying the burdens that God gives. And even if you're not called to the prophetic office, but you're called to any office that God may give you, whatever God has given you, whatever gift he's giving you, whatever office, anything of that nature that he's giving you, it comes with a burden. And it's important to hide yourself in Jesus and not, pour from an empty cup, as Prophet Ezekiel said. Pouring from an empty cup, or delivering words from an empty cup. And I definitely felt like that had been my portion, was delivering from an empty place of just feeling so drained and so burdened with the things that God was revealing to me. And and just really trying to press into his presence, but sometimes just getting discouraged even with that, and just feeling like, okay, am I going to get more dumped onto me that I have to carry. And I'm like, I'm barely carrying what I have now. So this is me being honest, me being transparent, because it's important to know, and it's important for us to share our burdens and our shortcomings with each other. And the main thing that I want you to get from this channel is, of course, to fall in love with Jesus by, hearing messages from his heart and drawing closer to his heart, but also being able to see that, him speaking through me, I am not a perfect vessel. I make a lot of mistakes, and I'm still figuring all of this out with God's guidance. I'm doing my best to not do anything alone, and that's the goal, to not try to do anything on my own strength, but to do it all through God's strength and not mine, because if it was up to me, I wouldn't make it. None of us would. So we need Jesus. We need him to give us strength to get through the trials and get through our different life, our different lifestyles that we may be living. It's important to lean on him, above everything else. So I hope that you were encouraged by these messages, regardless